Thanks for stopping by. This is Rusty Maple with 5 observations in 5 minutes about Game 3 of the first round between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. So, Pittsburgh wins Game 3, 5-4 in regulation. Huge victory on the back of some very important players and some other important factors that we'll get into right now. First impactful player of the night, Christopher Letang, who's having a great playoff run. Might be his best since 2016. He capped off an amazing Game 3 with 24 minutes of time on ice, 0 giveaways, and 3 points. Letang's contributions offensively helped win the game for sure for the Penguins. He was really important on the power play. He wanted the puck. He shot the puck, he passed the puck to important players, and defensively, he's been very stellar. Like I said, he's been absolutely solid in the back. No problems with Letang's play tonight. I think he just really did a good job, and he's not really getting a lot of praise from the media, but absolutely great performance from Letang defensively. Him and Dumoulin are playing amazing. So, next player is Jeff Carter. I can't believe the impact Jeff Carter is having from being a trade deadline acquisition. If you told me Jeff Carter was 36 years old and I'd never seen him play, I would not believe you. Jeff Carter had 2 huge goals tonight, and they definitely helped turn the tide in our favor, and they helped us win the game. The way he looked in the power play tonight was just crazy, and the way he just manages to make things happen. I think he might actually be the best third line center the Penguins have had in the playoffs since Bonino, and his impact I think is even greater than Bonino's. Nothing but praise for Jeff Carter. So before we segue to the elephant in the room, the Penguins definitely are outplaying the Islanders in this series. I think that's pretty evident to see. That second period is a huge determinant of that. The Penguins were outskating the Islanders. They wanted the puck more. They were hungrier. They were winning battles. The only thing the Islanders really had the upper hand was the physical battle. So, to address this elephant in the room, the Islanders have absolutely resorted to using violence and using their physical strength to try to beat the Penguins. The Penguins are outplaying the Islanders, and to see how the Islanders are responding to that is not surprising, but it's also a bit questionable to me. You know, in my opinion at least, I think the goals the Islanders scored in the third period, they just weren't that clean, and they seemed really dirty, and it didn't feel right. I think Matt Martin's line featuring Cal Clutterbuck, who got 2 goals, was great. I mean, good for him. Good game from him. They're doing their job extremely well. I think the NHL needs to do some soul searching here. They're not really doing much of anything to combat players like this. Case in point, Tom Wilson. There are a lot of incidents that happened in this third period that this fourth line of the Islanders generated, and good for them. But also, like I said, the referees aren't doing anything about this stuff. This game turned into a WWE-style wrestling match towards the end of it, with the Penguins getting more penalties, probably because the Islanders were behind in the score sheet. Credit to the Islanders' power play. They got a goal. Beauvillier had a nice goal in the power play, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like the Islanders got these chances from doing dirty plays, and they didn't really deserve the goals they were getting. So there's a bit of an isolated incident that happened later in the third period. Matt Martin jumps onto Crosby. Crosby doesn't really do anything about it. He knows what's going to happen if he retaliates, but John Marino comes to Crosby's aid. Martin and Marino sort of go at it for a little bit, and the refs decide to call coincidental minors, which led to a 4-on-4. Obviously, a 4-on-4 isn't really what you want when you're protecting a 1-goal lead or it's a tied game, but the referees decided to give it anyways. I think my problem with this is the fact that Martin, who instigated the affair against Crosby, didn't get a penalty for that. Marino and Martin got incidental minors for roughing, presumably towards each other, but my problem is, how are you not going to give a penalty to Martin on extra for engaging with Crosby and Marino? It was only a 4-on-4, and I guess I should be thankful that they didn't call an extra penalty on Marino. But I guess my issue as a whole is that they're letting players like Martin get away with plays like this. And if this is what's to come, it's going to be a painful series for the Penguins, and they might even end up getting injured or banged up from stupid things that the referees aren't calling. For the referees to allow the fourth line of the Islanders to get away with so much of what they did tonight, it sort of is foreshadowing what could be happening in the rest of the series. And as a Pens fan, it's really frustrating when you see your team outplaying the opposition, and then they're getting dinged for the fact that they're playing better than the opposition. To put it into more context, obviously the Islanders were down on the score sheet, and by resorting to these dirty tactics, they're getting power plays from it. They know it's working. It's up to the referees, more specifically Kelly Sutherland, who is officiating this game, to do something about it. Going back to earlier in the season, obviously the Tom Wilson incident that happened sort of shows what George Peros' idea is for the player safety at this point. It's kind of ridiculous that how much these dirty players are getting away with. I just hope the league gets their act together, because it's going to be a long playoff run, and it's probably going to be really frustrating and unfair if the Penguins have to keep playing against this sort of hockey. So that'll conclude my thoughts for Game 3. Obviously, I'm a little bit bittersweet about it. Happy the Penguins won, but it didn't feel that great. I think the Penguins can steal Game 4 and go back into Pittsburgh with a 3-1 advantage. It'll look really good for us if we can play for that 100% capacity crowd. Back home, that is. I just hope we can keep the engine rolling. We know how to play against these guys, and we're definitely playing better than them, so hopefully we can take this momentum into Game 4 and steal another one here. As always, that's all for me. Thanks for watching, guys.